Oh, hey, we're live.
Oh, hey, a little sneak attack there.
Oh,
We're live.
nice.
Hey guys, let me tweet this out for Brian here. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to I always botch the intro. Let me
Brutal.
take a
Happened to
deep
our
breath.
what? So did you guys just give up on that really cool intro music? I thought I was so
Oh
impressed
man,
with that.
Yeah, it's only about like 12 shows
13
back.
episodes ago. Yeah, no, that was the biggest pain in the ass. I mean, I had to like change all my sound settings while
Okay.
attempting to switch back.
But
I don't know.
I gotta admit, it was pretty impressive. But we'll get it back one day. You know, when we're rich and
Yeah,
famous, and we can hire an intern to do that, right?
yeah, right, exactly. We
So
need
what
Google to get
episode
their
did we
stuff
just
together.
nonchalantly roll into here?
Yeah, I
Bitcoin and
think I
altcoin
think
trading
Question.
talk.
we should probably do like a hello or something. Hey,
Howdy do.
Rob did, or we'll do your hello right now because
Bienvenidos a Bitcoin y Altcoin Trading Talk 17. This is William Kale from Coinigy.com, as usual. And we have Rob Borden from Coinigy as well. How you doing, Rob?
Doing
What's
well.
new?
You know, same old story.
Just
Bitcoin and
knocking out that
altcoin
code.
trading talk.
Oh yeah, just
Had to
talking and trading
pry me
and
off my
coining.
keyboard to get me onto the show.
Well, it looks like Rob's doing well then.
a
And
nice
as
smile
usual,
on his face. I like that. So.
yeah, exactly. And
Especially
as
with the way
usual,
your Packers are acting these days.
Ooh, game tomorrow.
yeah,
Gotta
it's
turn her around.
gonna be a bloodbath. I don't want to talk about it.
See, I'm allowed to sit here in a foreign country and just lob these in here, right?
Yeah, the whole NFC North has been lobbing them our way. So
Yeah. So did we do that tweet thing? So I can just post it in
yeah,
my chat room.
I tweeted at
We're
CR
live. There it
Investor.
is. Okay, so I'm gonna retweet this. Here
Got
we
some viewers
go.
on. Hey, anybody who's watching right now, so we have a question. We don't know if the comments are enabled or disabled on the YouTube video. So if you can, leave a comment. Let us know that they're enabled. Let me go back to the page
Or
here.
let us know in the
Try not
Q&A
to cause a bunch of
section
dead air here. So
on Hangouts if you can. If you can't comment, let us know there.
yeah, we really want to open this up for the viewers, to see it says comments disabled for this video. I don't know what's up with that.
Well,
I don't know.
Crazy.
I know Google's been kind of playing around a little bit with their platform lately, so maybe it's Google side. It's
You
tough
mean
to say.
Could be.
screwing stuff up all the time?
Stuff.
Yeah, like how they broke Google Sheets functions and broke our API integration for like a week.
Yeah, we should mention that. So we have with Coinigy via our API, we have a really cool integration with Google Sheets, and quite a few people have been using it. We actually have some crypto mutual funds and hedge funds and stuff using our Sheets plugin, and then what they're doing is
Cool.
yeah, it's awesome. We created basically the bare bones, so it's just the API connection, and then people are taking it upon themselves to take those formulas and build them into their own, presentation sheets and all that fun stuff. So it's kind of cool. But there's a caveat here. Google has been having issues with the API integrations with Sheets for the past, 2 weeks, Rob?
Yeah, it was any custom functions. It wasn't just like, in
Yeah.
our case, we were making web requests, but pretty much any custom functions were returning an error instead of what they should be returning. So
Right. So it was not just us, it was like Google-wide. But
yeah,
allegedly it's been fixed. We've been hearing back from people that
it's
things
fixed.
are
I
working
tested
again.
it, and
Yeah, I don't know. Like I use the Google Hangouts quite a bit for my classes and stuff, and I've just noticed over the past year or so, Google they kind of just operate on their own schedule, and they don't really let you know that a curveball is coming. and it just comes, and hopefully you just gotta, keep your fingers crossed that the curveball won't sink you. So the before we started recording here tonight, the boys were saying my screen was loading a bit slowly here. Is that a Google issue? I don't know, but for anybody watching the show, just please understand that we're just working with this technology in particular. So the content is still all perfectly good. It's just we're just dealing with Google. That's all.
Yep. And by the way, I didn't give Brian an intro.
Who is that guy talking anyway?
Who is that strange voice? So,
hello, everybody. I'm Brian Beamish. This is my little website, The Rational Investor, and actually I have a little crypto portfolio that I've been running. And what's a lot of fun for me is I've sort of said from day one I want to be long crypto. And did I get rid of that screen? Darn.
Yeah, you're black.
And
again.
my little let's see if I can load my little balances thing here. That's
yeah, I can't see your screen though, Brian, so I don't know what's up with that right now.
Yeah, it's black for me again.
Okay, I do see that I am sharing. Like I can actually see
okay, it just popped up. There's some kind of delay.
And what I absolutely love, and I suppose it looks like you guys went and changed things here. You put the balances tabs over here now. I don't know. So.
Yeah, we made a couple updates.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to get into also.
We fulfilled one of your requests even, Brian.
I beg your pardon?
We fulfilled one of your requests about moving the balances to the top of the page.
Yes, thank you.
Total balance.
Awesome, yeah, so I could see that right off the bat.
And you can even get it in Canadian dollars.
Yeah. Well, okay.
The funny money.
If you want to feel rich. It's double in Canadian dollars over USD.
It wasn't too long ago the Canadian dollar was trading at a premium to the US dollar, so
I
be
know,
careful there.
Yeah. Well, check it now.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I used to live in LA. And when you're a foreigner in the States, it's always like you're kind of like on defense. And so I used to have the exact same comments from people I used to live with in LA, right? And I would have to remind them that currency markets are free floating, and sometimes the Canadian dollar is higher than the US dollar, sometimes it's lower, right? But anyway, that's
I've already seen it when it was like it is now, and then it went to almost to parity, and now it's back to where it is now again. So
right.
It's a big swing.
Well, and that's this isn't really crypto related, but it is a really sad commentary in that we knew that we were in a commodity cycle, so the Canadian dollar should have done well, and so it did what it was expected. The problem is during those times, those people that believe, the austerity, have you guys ever heard that, versus Keynesian economics? They're sort of back and forth. Technically, what should have happened during that time period is Canada should have paid down its long-term debt, right? When the oil revenues were really high, Canada had no business running deficits. And yet our democratically elected politicians, during that time when we should have been running surpluses and paying down debt and cleaning up our balance sheet, these silly politicians continued to run deficits. So now we're actually heading into a cycle that's going to be commodity unfriendly, and the Canadian dollar could be in some serious trouble here. There's no doubt about it. In fact, I did a write-up recently, I don't know whether you guys saw it or not, where we just had a politician in Canada elected on the platform that he promised the populace he was going to spend more money than he has.
Mr. Trudeau?
That's right. I mean, that's just a potion for disaster when it comes to economics, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to think of it in personal terms, is it generally a good economic thing for you to go out and get a whole bunch of credit cards and rack them up?
No, I don't think so.
Right? That's not good economics. And so I had kind of made the point to my audience recently that the sad part about it, and then on top of that, internally in our own country, our politicians in the oil-producing region of the country just went and slapped a horrendous tax on doing any business in the oil sector. and labeled it environmental, green, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, but it's just another tax. And so, you know, if you got $1 million and you're sitting in Wisconsin, and all of a sudden they just said, well, if you want to invest in Canada, you're going to have to pay a 10% penalty to the government. Are you likely to go and invest in Canada now?
Not likely.
Yeah, I mean, you say to hell with it. I'll just put my money into the Balkans oil. Why go and invest my money in a socialist tax the rich kind of environment? So we have a situation in Canada now where the federal politicians have totally told the market, hey, we're going to just dilute the shit out of our currency. And the internals, the actual demand, you know, the actual investing in Canada is getting a big stop sign in the form of a massive new tax. This is a potion for disaster. So yeah, I'm not really overly excited about being long Canadian dollars right at the moment. But anyway, sorry to go off on a tangent there. Sorry, guys.
If that's a good segue, though. Since you have it up on your screen, you can now compare your portfolio value in Canadian dollars to U.S. dollars if you want. So there's a new feature in the upper right.
Right? Okay, I'm up here.
Yeah, except it looks like your mouse isn't moving, so I don't know. I don't know if the feed's not coming through.
Yeah, I think it's his feed is struggling tonight for some reason.
Okay, so let me share my screen. I'll go through it with you guys here quickly. If I can figure out how to share my screen.
Really? You don't see my page moving up and down?
No, it's frozen right now.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah.
Should I maybe reboot and come back and join you guys?
I mean, it might do you some good to try to just rejoin the Hangouts or
maybe just close the Hangout and then come back in.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't I do that then? So I'll be right back, and maybe you guys do your Coinigy update while I'm rebooting and stuff.
All right, sounds good to me.
Okay, I'll be right back.
You're gonna miss all the good stuff, though, Brian.
I know. Well, keep in mind I watch this show 2 or 3 times through the intervening week and take notes, right?
Holy smokes!
And I
know what we're up against here.
And I insist that our school people watch too. And I'm sure we're going to get a whole bunch of comments in our chat room. But anyway. Okay, I'll talk to you guys. I'll be right back, okay?
All right, cool. So anybody who's watching out there, I assume you can see my screen. Rob, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Your voice just got way louder for some reason.
Mine did?
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if it's maybe my bandwidth because, you know, I'm hosting this, so... I don't know. I can jump off, and I normally am not on video, so maybe I can jump off a video once I finish this. So just a quick update. We pushed some updates to the balances page. Just going to go over a little bit of the functionality with everybody. So we've built in a new endpoint, basically a new function to our API, which is currency conversion. So what that means is you can take any currency and convert it into any other currency, provided that there's actually a path. So what we do is we cross-convert from currency to currency. What that allows us to do now is to take your entire balance portfolio, and we now give you the ability to show, you know, default is in BTC. You still with me, Rob? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There. Sorry, I can't see my screen on the right here. So,
wow.
you know, right now it's showing I have 13 BTC. What I can do is actually, I don't know, which one should I pick here? Let's just go with the easy. Let's go USD. So now this is going to take a second because it's actually crunching the numbers behind the scenes. And now you can see all my holdings basically in US dollars, and that changes up there.
That wallet.
Are you laughing at me?
No, I'm laughing at your $3,700 in hype coin that you got there.
In Hyper or whatever that is. Yeah, I don't know. That's just a testing wallet, but I wish I had it. But so that's pretty much it. As usual, you know, you can hide and show dust. If you're not familiar with that, that means you can basically, like, let's say I have, you know what, I do have some dust, I know, in 42 coin. So I have like this dust right here, except I don't know what exchange it's on. Actually, I do. It's in Cryptsy.
Probably, yeah.
Let me go to Cryptsy here.
Got a few accounts there, William. Wow.
Yeah, a few. So if you want to hide and sweep dust, what you have to do is select one single account. And then let's say I just want to get rid of my 42 coin balance. That dust is now swept away. And apparently it's not because it's showing up. So there must be a bug there. Okay, well, it's supposed to disappear from here, but we must have borked something here. But long story short, you can now basically you can actually sort all your stuff by whatever currency you have here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then as usual, our chart view, we made some updates here so that on certain during our automatic balance updates, there were certain times when users were having issues seeing their most recent day's balances here, and we just pushed a fix to hopefully address that.
Mm-hmm.
So should be good here on out.
And apparently we'll be pushing a fix to find out why dust balances aren't hitting.
Yeah, exactly. Like stat. So while we're waiting for Brian,
daily updates means daily bugs. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's just kind of the way of the world. But so
it's us and Google,
Yeah, exactly. Google as well, screwing up our sheets. So Rob, you've while we're waiting for Brian, you've been following this Cryptsy stuff a little bit. What's up with that?
Yeah, I read today something about a class action lawsuit that was being filed against them. So I didn't really read into it too much, but it's definitely more bad news. It's hard to keep finding ways to defend them and try to keep making excuses to try to give them the benefit of the doubt. But,
right. Yeah, and as people know, if they've watched the last couple episodes, actually, I mean, I've at least personally kind of been trying to give them the benefit of the doubt in terms of, the what was it, Coinfire article, where really it just seemed not too legitimate for me, but yet it was being
misspelled in it.
They misspelled the name Cryptsy or something like that.
Yeah,
and, or Crypt.
They made the same typo in their article as was in the fake federal documents or whatever.
Right. Well, allegedly
probably
fake. I don't want to say outright fake, but allegedly fake. And that got shared around the world, and everybody was freaking out. And then it just kind of went away. But now there's this new article about Cryptsy where somebody, it gave their online moniker. I can't remember what it was, but they didn't talk about, or they didn't want to provide their full name. Said an anonymous person is setting up a class action lawsuit against Cryptsy. Apparently, they're trying to recruit people via Bitcoin Talk and on Reddit and all over the place to join in this class action lawsuit. I don't know if it's actually been filed or if this is just.
I'm assuming you must
smoke in the air
need to have a minimum number of people. It sounds like they have one person, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's only really originated out of this News BTC media outlet, and I don't really know. I think they're kind of in that same questionable territory as some of the others who are just trying to get some page views, basically.
Right. So I don't know if they're, right. Allegedly questionable.
It's definitely not good when it keeps coming up over and over again.
Right. Yeah, your audio just went down as well, Rob. I don't know if that's just
as soon as Brian joined in.
Yeah. So, so we were just talking Cryptsy, Brian. What are your thoughts on it? I know you've said. Fire.
Yeah, usually, I'm definitely the type of person that I like to sort of give people the benefit of the doubt. So, the first sort of problem that we sort of ran into, I was kind of like, well, let's give these guys the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's just some haters out there. You hate to hear when lawyers get involved. That's a bad sign. Do these guys get an injunction slapped on them where basically everything's just frozen by the courts? I don't know.
Yeah, that's really questionable too because I know that their offices are in Florida, but I believe their holding company is located somewhere abroad. So, I can understand if it was coming straight from the government, they obviously could, freeze their assets or do whatever they have to do. But if it's coming from more of like a civil type suit, I wonder if they can mess with the international entity.
You never know with these silly lawyers, right? And that's half the problem with lawyers, right? No offense to any lawyers who are watching us out there. Oh, what the hell? Let's offend them. We all hate lawyers. But the point is, and this is just from 45 years being on this planet, if you ever challenge a lawyer with some sort of legalese or something, they almost take it as like a personal vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they'll just, we were joking about this earlier. We may actually find that the guys that are filing these lawsuits are bitching about maybe like a couple grand worth of assets. And the irony of it all is that pardon me?
Maybe less than that even. Yeah,
well, I saw a lot of talk about, hey, I had 10 Bitcoins and I wanted to move them, kind of thing, right? So maybe we're talking like, 2-3 grand, right? The irony of it all is that these silly lawyers may rack up thousands and thousands, maybe $10,000 in legal fees, right? And we were kind of joking this earlier, where it almost becomes like, what was the term that you used? It's the principle of the matter, right?
Right.
And people, it will morph from a battle of egos when really, whoop, did Big Brother just?
It's my dog.
Break your chair.
The dogs are having a royal rumble right behind me.
So, actually, and the cool thing is, we just sort of, and I sort of said this earlier to you guys, I like to use you guys as sort of like the outside tertiary sort of look down upon this world, right? Mm-hmm. And so I do have this, what is it now? It's at 0.109 Bitcoin on Cryptsy, right? And it's interesting to watch this little sliver sort of oscillate. It gets bigger as sort of Cryptsy comes back, and then it shrinks down as Cryptsy goes into trouble and stuff. It's funny to watch.
Well, yeah, you have a lot of coins spread out even on Cryptsy, even though that's a small representative portion, but I think you still have a lot of coins there, right?
I think it's like a half a dozen or something like that.
Okay.
And actually, and I also noticed that did you guys recently add that Yobit? Is that a recent addition?
Yeah, and Yobit has a ton of markets. I think they have like 386 markets.
Yeah, so I went and opened up an account there, and we've got them at Cryptsy, and Polo, we have an account. I haven't linked all of them up together. I've only got the Cryptsy one linked on here, so
we don't have
working on that.
Yobit balance tracking is in the pipeline.
All right, so but anyway, the bottom line
that's available.
Yeah, the bottom line here is, and I've told you guys, and I've told the audience, and I can understand that some of the audience is kind of. They're probably not taking my approach to crypto, but I just want to own every single crypto I possibly can. And frankly, I don't know who's going to win at the end of this. If anything, it's this journey in itself is a fascinating education into highly speculative, highly uncertain markets. And I would be really curious if they did some sort of poll and we actually found out the amount of people that have actually bought an altcoin and who are actually showing a positive account balance.
Right. You mean a positive net balance over a period of time.
Right, where they're actually participating in the altcoin market and they've made money and kept the money.
Right.
We see a lot of these altcoins go shooting up and then right back down, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were just talking to one of our users, Corey, about that. He was kind of bringing up an interesting idea as far as, on Coinigy, everybody has their accounts tied in. We could, at some point, give people the ability to opt in to like an anonymous stat kind of thing, and then provide kind of site-wide stats, and then other users could see those stats. Obviously like an opt-in only type of situation, where we could show, like what markets are being viewed and
Dude, man,
who's in and out of markets and that kind of stuff. So
I used to work for this prop firm out of Chicago, and I believed half of the reason why they set up this whole prop firm, because it was a lot of it was online, was I believed that the guys that ran the prop firm, they wanted to know where the public had their orders and what they were interested in. And this prop firm, basically, they had a totally built out sort of end interface for all the people that wanted to trade with them. And that was incredibly valuable information. Like, I literally believe that was more valuable than actually having the prop firm, the prop traders trading, because at any given point in time, they must have had like 200-300 people that are sort of applying to be prop traders. And those people are the noobs. They're the public. Right. They're going to do exactly what the public does. So, Nebraska could just sit there on his screen, and he could literally see where all of their orders were. You know how powerful information that is? Mm-hmm. Right? And he could literally see where all of the stop orders of all of these people who are just acting as very normal humans. So, and I've told you guys this before. I don't think you guys even realize how powerful of a tool you guys have built.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right. I mean, every day we're learning more of what we've built, really. I mean, a lot of it almost takes a life of its own after, we build the core processes, we collect the data, and then we start to actually crunch the data, and we're like, wow, we didn't even know what we were getting into in a lot of this stuff.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Especially
it would be awesome. We could even, just for an example, we could have like a public page that just shows what markets are getting the most activity from users. And obviously we would never give. I just want to make it clear before you respond. We would never do anything like this for personal gain or to without the user opting in for that, obviously. So,
yeah, in fact, you could argue that's it sounds to me like you got a couple rats in the background there fighting there, Rob.
I wish they were just rats. They'd be a lot more manageable.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, and you could argue that's exactly the problem that Cryptsy's getting into right now. Is the complaint that I read this morning was that the customers feel as though the Cryptsy people are using their information against their own will. So I absolutely agree with you. Be very careful there. This is just one guy talking to another, and of course this is going out on the internet.
Yeah, obviously.
But, one reason why I like working with you two is because I believe that you're very ethical, and I believe that you are good people. I don't like working with assholes. Trust me. I've worked in the brokerage business 25 years. There are tons of them out there.
Yep.
And it came through very early on in my conversing with you guys that you guys have the best intentions and they're honorable intentions. And I think it behooves you just cover. You've heard the cover your ass, right? Go out of your way to assure your users that the information is not going to be used against their wishes. But can you think of something like have you guys ever seen those tick rain charts?
I don't think so.
Am I allowed to show? Can I? I don't know whether I can show a stock market. I should probably have it up and running. But there's one site that I like to use called stockcharts.com, and they just simply trickle down your screen, kind of like rain, how many times symbols are requested on their site.
That's
and
awesome.
So you can literally see where the sort of cumulative activity is in the market.
Can you pull that up, Brian? I'm curious to see what it looks like, because I have something I want to pull up here, but I don't know if I can actually get at it. It might kill my internet connection.
Yeah, no, I don't want to.
I built a kind of similar to that. I built a like a visualizer for our API. It doesn't show what user activity is, but it subscribes to every single market on our on our API, which is like I think 1,800 markets or something at this point, and it shows a little square for each market, and then whenever a trade comes in, that square changes color, and you get to see this all live in your browser, and it's pretty cool. But
yeah, that would be.
I think it's gonna absolutely destroy my internet connection, so I'm not gonna mess with it
Okay.
right now.
I don't see it here. I know it's a fairly popular thing when the market's open.
Okay.
And you
well, you can show us later. We don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll
Just
think
curious to
about
see
it.
that. Sounds
But
cool.
yeah, it's a pretty popular for sort of function in the stock market. You know, see how they can kind of, you know, they sort of increase the size of the font just based on how many, you know, requests they're getting for their symbols. You know, you could do stuff like that. I think that would
we could
be
easily
valuable.
do something like that, and that's not even, you know, that's
is
more
really
like metadata rather than
Yeah.
specific user
Yeah,
data.
this is really simple to do. But, you know, if you could have this on, you know, I've talked to you guys before about building screeners, right? For traders like me, you know, if you could just build something as simple as show me stocks that have crossed and closed above the 13-period exponential moving average today, that would be incredibly valuable information for me.
And
right?
we can. We just don't have the time right now.
Yeah.
We're getting there, but
no big deal. I mean, yeah, it'll come when it comes, right? Yeah, I guess one thing that we need to review here is this sheet.
Oh man, it's coming out already.
Brian, you're going dark again.
Oh, you can't see my page?
It's back now.
I'm just messing with you.
Oh, okay, all right. So wait, I don't know. Should we do this? I mean, we're already 40 minutes in.
Geez, if you wait till the end of the show, you might be spot on, Brian.
Let's do it now.
I go out of here. Come on, boys, give me some love in here. Come on.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So what do we owe you? $1 Canadian?
Well, so it's at about 25 cents US.
A loony.
You know, I just what I did, guys, and the users. This is such a simple tool, right? It's so simple, and this is a core concept that I'm trying to teach you guys, and that is, in fact, the gentleman who taught me it, his name is Ray Burchett. I don't know whether you guys have ever heard me talk about Ray Burchett before.
Yes, we have.
You know, and by all means, you know, he's Mr. Stock Market Land. I doubt he even understands what a cryptocurrency is. But the bottom line here is these concepts are totally universal. We started off with stamp, and all I did was just say, you know, who can tell me what my name for the 38.2 fib is?
It's either a line in the sand.
No. In fact, you made the same mistake last time.
I know I did. You know, anyway, Brian, I have so much info up here, and 99% of it is programming stuff.
All right. So this was our first stop target, and so that's basically why I picked that level. And you know, I think our show was right here, right? You can see where it just sort of was jawboning here. And in essence, that's right in here, and you can see how we just sort of played around, and we came right up to the first stop target. So this is a very normal sort of occurrence in the marketplace, and it doesn't really matter whether you're watching Bitcoins or, you know, frozen concentrated orange juice or broiler chickens or altcoins. It's incredibly how universal this concept is. So, you know, the viewers who are watching this, you know, take this to the bank. You know, try and remember this. Write it down. This is an incredibly valuable tool. Right? And it's, you know, it's not, you know, I don't want the viewers to go, oh, you must have just been reading the tea leaves to come up with that target. Really, all I did was I just simply said, what's a 38.2? All right, that's sort of where the market kind of wants to go, ironically.
And what did you say the actual name? What did you call it? 38.2.
The name that I've given it, and this is a name that I've coined, is the first stop target.
Okay.
And, you know, Mr. Burchett, he has a rule that you really shouldn't take a trade in the market until you see this level resolved. And so what's happening
I do
here
recall
is,
this from last show. We went over. Yeah, I just completely forgot what the name.
Vaguely.
that's okay. Well, it's show what?
After I hear something
37,
7 times, I usually remember it.
So your
Yeah.
theory 2 weeks ago was that the general trend was up from that low that we were at, and so you thought it was going to come around that 38.2 level and hover there probably for some time. And so that's kind of why you guessed that point.
Yeah, my general feeling was that price had fallen pretty hard here, right? Boom. And the interesting thing, of course, is that if we did fibs going the other direction, we found that the fall, and this will test your knowledge of 61.8. Who do we call as that level? You remember who that guy is?
Mountain Man level?
Yeah, very good. So,
hey, we're 1 for 2.
Yeah, good job. And the interesting thing is if you have a greater than 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, then you can bat 50% in your trading and still make money. So think of it that way. That's a little piece that I always throw in my school. Sorry. Just got all excited there.
Little anecdote.
All right, so this is our mountain man level, right? And you can kind of see, do you see how the market just sort of settled right in off of his level here?
Mm-hmm.
So my general feeling was, at this point when we did the show, was that we had this spike down into, what's this box? What do I like to call this box down here? Can you guys remember that?
Is that OTE?
It is. That's a term another
zone?
gentleman uses on the internet, and because I teach a school and I actually charge people for the education, I've basically given this a label of my own. I don't want to be perceived as copying other people's ideas. So, do you guys remember what the name is that I give this zone?
The reload zone.
Thank you. Way to go, Rob. Right? So the point here is, can you see how if you were a bull through this, right, market literally came down and gave you an opportunity to reload, right? You can imagine some guys took some profits. What's really interesting about Bitcoin is if we look at this level, this was a mountain man level going the other direction. There was our last Silk Road auction peak right here. That was last summer. And if we just do a nice little fib off of that range, we see, whoops, I want to go the other way. We see that Mountain Man strikes again. So Mountain Man's been striking all over the place here. And just so the audience knows, Mountain Man is a futures trader that I used to trade with out of Chicago. His name's Brandon Riga. You can Google him. He totally looks like a Mountain Man, so the name is apt. And one of the best futures traders I ever knew in my life. And look how Mountain Man, see 61.8 here. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look how he got his trade off right there. I mean, that's ridiculous. You see that?
Time and again.
Right. So Mountain Man, he's been active all over the place here, right? So that just to finish off the thought, why did I come up with this level? Basically, we had the market face rip up. Then we had the classic sell, buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yep.
And so at this point, what did I say Mr. Burchett says about the 38.2? What did he say?
You have to make it get resolved or something.
Exactly. Very good. So the point here is an excellent anecdote of us just simply waiting for the market to resolve this 38.2 before we make any grand decisions about where the market's going to go in the future. Does that make sense?
And you would say it hasn't done that yet, right?
No. Well, all we've done is we've rallied
Just
up.
starting to basically hover on it right now.
And the market at this point is now in the process of resolving 38.2.
So how do you really determine an actual resolution? I mean, just whether it goes way up or way down out of that range?
So what letters of the alphabet do I like as a technician?
I think you like S's and T's.
Ay, caramba. Now you're just playing with me. Come on.
M's and W's.
Yes,
but you love W's.
Well, if I want to buy, if I want to short, I love M's.
Right.
So can you see how the market came down here and sort of doubled you'd? In fact, it tried to put in an M and then reverse that M. This actual pattern, and what's really cool on Coinigy is you have this tool. This is actually what's known as a harmonic pattern, where if you ever see the market put an M inside a W, can you guys see that? Can you see how the big W is here, but there's a little M inside the W? Actually, this is exactly what the market did after that last, the last top, was it put in this harmonic top up here. Can you guys see this? So we went basically from here up to here, right? And actually, really, we should draw this backwards here. Let's go away. Let's try that again. We'll go here to here to here to here to here. This is a really powerful concept that we teach in the program called harmonic trading. And what's cool is, on Coinigy, you have these harmonic tools at your disposal. This point D is what's called a PRZ, or potential reversal zone. And in my school programs and stuff, if I can just do a quick little plug for the school, we do things like furnish you with harmonic cheat sheets. So you can basically have this information right in front of you. Do you guys see my cheat sheet here?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is actually a bat, right? If we scroll down here, you see how if we go back to our Bitcoin chart, we see. Can you see the bat? Right? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Looks like a bearish bat on your chart.
Right, and that's right. This one here, right? And here's the sad part about harmonics, is this is usually the end result. Havush, right? So the sad part about it is, coming out of that auction last year, this was a majorly bearish sign, and kaboom, right? So let's fast forward to today. And, Julian's always like, Brian, don't tell us about the past, tell us about the future, right? I could actually argue that we have a little bit of a bullish harmonic trying to form here. Can you guys see the bigger W and the little M inside?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's encouraging, right? It's very encouraging. Now, we needed to come up to the first stop target, right? And this needs to be resolved. In fact, for day traders and stuff, I would actually say, probably your best thing to do is draw a harmonic going back down. And do you guys see how our reload zone just happens to be right off of these lows? Have you guys heard me talk about, really what we ideally want to do is we want to try and buy against lows and sell against highs. So do you see how the market, we have all of these highs right in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The market played around down here, Mountain Man, right? Put in a little bottom, and look where it rallied to, and then ran out of steam right up against all these highs.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you say that, since that's the first stop target and you're trying to see it get resolved, I would take that to mean you're not going to assume that this is turned around until it moves up out of that range significantly.
Exactly.
So where would you want to see it move to feel comfortable that that level was resolved?
Ideally, I would like to see at least, if I was this fib here, and we'll move this over to the other side. Let's go right. Okay, so here are all the numbers here.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, we want to see Mountain, or not Mountain. Can you see how the first stop target now is being tested on the downside here? So there was the upside 38.2 testing.
Yep. Yeah, it's testing.
And now it's actually testing the other direction. So
Mm-hmm.
do you see how price came screaming down here? And later, let's maybe move this. Go above. There we go. So can you see how the market came screaming down here and tagged the 38.2 and then bounced off of it?
Mm-hmm.
You see that? So
yeah.
Exact same principle, only now we're measuring this rally. So, and you can just keep doing this. And this is sort of like what we talk about when we say, what's the market state? Have you guys ever heard me say that before? What market state are we in? I would actually argue that until this 38.2 up here is resolved, we are now in a ranging market. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So within this test of this level, we're now going to see whether we need to come down, first stop target 38.2. Maybe what we do, and to answer your original question, Will, what do I want to see to, sort of dictate behavior going forward?
It sounds kind of like in order to resolve the macro 38.2, we have to resolve all these infinite micro 38.2s.
Kind of, and have you guys have heard about the Mandelbrot set and fractals and all that?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
All right, so the point here is what we're probably going to see happen is that this just compresses on itself, right? And if we did things like Gann angles, we might actually come up with, thinking range, right? Where all we're doing is just oscillating. And we're just going to keep ranging and ranging and ranging, and then all of a sudden, here, let's change the color so everybody can see this. Let's go white. All right, so can you see how we're just compressing?
Yeah, and I see that pattern all the time, especially on BTC USD.
Absolutely. I mean, this is basically how markets work. I've asked you guys before, please, at some point can we get volume profile on here?
Yeah.
And what you'll come to understand over time is what this really is what we call the price discovery process, where price is literally going to explore the opposite ends of the price spectrum. And what should happen is the profile should basically come to a sort of agreed upon average price for Bitcoins. And this is what we call the POC. I don't know whether you guys have ever heard me talk about that before.
Nope, that's my first time hearing that.
Right. So if we ever get like volume profile, please, then what we should find is a healthy, well-defined, well-built-out profile should look like a parabola, where the market has gone through the price discovery process and sort of discovered what the average what the market has come to agree is sort of the accepted price. Once we get a profile that looks like this sort of parabola put on its side with a nice, healthy, well-defined POC, then what we say is that the price discovery process has done its job, and now price is ready to go and explore a new level.
Okay, so it doesn't indicate the direction, but it indicates that something's about to happen.
Okay, basically. So can you appreciate that through this whole process we have sort of, maybe a potential M. If we break down through here, then that becomes an M. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I go like that, right? There is the yellow line, there's our M. Conversely, if we say come down here and break out through the top, then there's a W. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So the point here is, I'm not gonna tell the market where it's gonna go. Whenever you do that, you're just asking for trouble. I'm just gonna sit and listen to the market and let it tell me where it wants to go. And so, using little tools like the 38.2 first stop target to sort of understand what the market's kind of feeling right now, hopefully you guys can appreciate. I would personally, suggest that we had a big blow off top, big thumping down. And right now, we could say that the dust is settling. Does that make sense?
So, Brian, this seems like it relates directly to what you've talked about, how 80 or maybe 70 to 80% of the time the market is ranging. Is that what you would say? And 20% of the time it's trending. So
Right.
basically, when it's ranging, it's essentially trying to resolve a POC, basically. And then
Not a bad way to look at it.
when you
What
get
I
to
would
that
say is,
point, it often starts a big oscillation like this where it tries to discover like a new price target, and then it starts ranging again.
all right, so we had this major repricing event, right? And so I think that the market right now is saying, okay, you know, based purely on supply and demand, was the fact that they took market up here really realistic? Where do people really want to actually own Bitcoins from? And this is sort of the process that we're going through right now. And that the repricing events, you know, like you could argue that this thing actually started to trend in earnest, I guess, when it broke out through this range. Can you see how this was a trading range?
Yeah.
This high here to this low here. So all of this time we can say trading range. Look how it broke through the top of the range, and this is really valuable for people that are watching this video. Notice how it broke out through the top. The next bar, it came back and checked the high. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And then it
I think I reaffirmed
resolved
the next day.
higher through that breakout. This is the key here, right? And this is sort of the market transition from ranging. And you could say that, hey, it was trending within a range. That's fine. But the point here is that for this very brief window, and it wasn't very long, right? That's how long it was. The market was trending very hard, right? That's not a very big window, is it?
No.
And now we got to spend this window now back in range. And so there's where we get sort of our 80-20 kind of concept. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, and the interesting thing is for people that trade, you know, commodities and stuff, because markets range 80% of the time, you know, if you're waiting for the next trend signal on Bitcoin, guess what, guys? You've done nothing here over the past couple weeks, right? I mean, there was the trending signal, the market ended that trend, and now it's just in a range trying to figure out what it wants to do next. For people that like day trade and that want to make a living from day trading, you can't wait for just this trending market condition. And so a lot of sort of people that I teach that trade Forex, that trade stocks, trade options, ironically enough, hunting range setups makes them more active. It gives them more ideas to consider. Right?
Yeah.
So bottom line here is 38.2 was attested. Now we're testing 38.2 on the downside. And really, I might argue that over the short term, we really have just like a window here, where if 38.2 is given on the downside, let's say we put like a little MEM right up top here. MEM, right? If we go up, down, up, fail, right? Where are we most likely to come back to? Hello. Right? There's our good old reload zone target. I love reload zones within reload zones. Have you guys heard me say that before?
Yes, I have.
So the point here is if we started getting nice little W's down in here, I'll start getting really interested, right? But for the time being, we're still very much just resolving this. We might, right? We might just consolidate here. First stop target on the downside's been hit, right? We might consolidate here, down, put in a little W here, and get ready for a next leg higher. Very possible, right? And this would be like a trending market condition. I don't think I've talked to this audience too much about the trending market tools I use to trade. Have you guys ever heard me talk about the bot?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
So the bot is my way to trade trending markets where we had nice market structure. Again, sort of answering your original question, Will, and I apologize it took me so long to get to it, but you know, typical me, so long-winded. But really, whatever the market structure is that comes in here, that's what's going to dictate my behavior. So if we get a nice W that comes in here, well, you know, if I get nice momentum and volume signals, I might just take the trade.
Okay.
Right? Go along there. If we M top here and break down, well, then I'll be looking for the market to bottom down in here. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so that was just to toot my own horn. Wow, Brian, you're so smart. Way to go. You nailed the 2-week target. Yay!
Way to go, Brian.
All right, having said that, we didn't really make any money off it. It was just more gentlemanly. But hopefully, you know, this is a great testament to all of you guys and the importance of 38.2. So, okay.
Definitely educational.
You know what I wanted to do? In fact, I see him sitting in my chat room right now. I don't know whether he's watching the show or not. We'll see. But there was one gentleman who was like, Brian, I really want you to make a comment about what you see happening with the halving event coming up here in the future. And I thought, you know, I actually see this playing out really interestingly. And so I thought I'd just take a moment just for posterity, just so we have it on record. Okay, guys? So just indulge me a moment.
Go
here.
nuts.
But I put out a oh boy, this is going to take forever to get rid of. I put out a tweet a while ago talking about how fundamentals and technicals kind of look like they were converging on Bitcoin. And you know, anybody who's out there watching this video and you want to sort of, you know, by all means, you can follow me. I have a Twitter feed. You know, with our new website, I don't think I actually have the Twitter feed hooked up to it yet, so we still got some more work to do there. And our new website, it's you know, it's all real super fun and exciting. You know, this is basically the site. This is the crypto page on the site. But I recently had put out this tweet, and this had caught quite a bit of attention in sort of the crypto trading community. In that this was and keep in mind this projection was done back in September, and this was the trading range for Bitcoin for 2015. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, one concept that I like to teach is the concept of market symmetry. You know, you guys have heard me talk about. Hey, there he is. So Da Vinci's asked me to talk about Ethereum. I don't think we'll do it this time, Da Vinci, but I'm talking about your halving event here. So I hope you're happy. There we go. So the point here was this was the 2015, and I remember at the beginning of 2015, I was kind of like, you know what, let's just have a nice year of consolidation so we can stop this down and maybe start some up. And I'm a big fan of market symmetry, and I noticed that there was a lot of similarities between this trough here and price action at the beginning of the year. And so I just simply took a market, and it was as of this point that I took it, I just simply measured, you know, what does the price action over the past look like, and what happens if we just overlay that going into the future. And what I found was the symmetry was actually extremely, what's the word I'm looking for?
Symmetrical.
Okay, symmetrical. Yeah, okay. And so, you know, this was done in the middle of September. So let's take a look at what's actually happened now. And, you know, here's basically that same chart. Here is that 1 year consolidation. And what I found really interesting about this was, and here, just, you know, for our purposes, let's get rid of these so they don't confuse you.
Brian, you can right-click and just choose Reset Chart, too. That'll get rid of everything, I believe.
Yeah, I know, and it was, keep in mind, I'm Mr. 1980s, right, so I have to do everything stupid.
Oh, maybe that
I
doesn't
think you go, I
does.
think you go, like, drawing tools and then just go remove all drawing. There we go, so it all disappears.
Yeah, there you go.
So we can sort of see this range, right? There's that 2015 range, right? And I was looking for the dump. I actually thought there was going to be one more violent dump, but that final dump didn't come in. But we did get a violent breakout that we were sort of looking for, and I had even said here, year-end rally breaking these range highs will confirm this market symmetry idea for me. You can see how the market symmetry study, it was looking for the market to rally in through November and December. And, you know, these things never look exactly the same, but no doubt about it, the market popped really hard through that level, didn't it?
Yeah.
And what's interesting, right, is keep in mind that that market symmetry study is based off of clotheslines. So if we just change this and get rid of the high-low highs and lows, just change it to a clothesline, can you guys kind of see how similar these are starting to look now? Right, there's the breakout there. There's the pullback to test the original high.
Yeah,
right?
so wow.
And there was the rally, and there was the pullback to test the breakout high. Can you see that? Isn't that ridiculous how similar that is?
Yeah.
So as this symmetry study sort of suggests, actually here we can get rid of that now. I'm kind of looking for one more sort of dump here against this old high. And then I think we got to start getting ready for the halving event. Keep in mind the market is a forward discounting mechanism, right? We just saw that with this rally into the auction, right? Literally the public news event was this day right here after the peak was put in the market. This wasn't an accident that the peak was put in the day before the news event. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? And then we look at
discounting mechanism. I'll have to remember that one.
Well, everybody write that down. It's a key concept that we teach in our program, forward discounting mechanism. If we look at Litecoin, when it did its halving event, same thing. We'll just pop over to, whoops, here, I should do US dollar. You know, the halving event was like right here for Litecoin. The market had its rally ahead of the event. Make sense, everybody? I sure hope it does.
Yep.
So the point that I just really want to convey to everybody is we have a big fundamental driver coming up here. And what I find really interesting is the market, based on just previous price action and market symmetry, it seems to be sort of telegraphing what we should be expecting.
So what are we looking at? It's hard to read there. In July, it looks like. Is the estimated right now?
Right here, you mean?
2016-07. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
This is the halving event.
Yeah. So that's in July. So there's a good chance if there is a big rally prior to it, it's going to be maybe what, a month prior.
Well, I would actually argue that the rally will start, and my hunch is it's probably going to start in end of first quarter. Not end. First quarter 2016.
Right. Okay.
So, if we want to position ourselves to take advantage of that event, that's when we have to start getting ready. Okay, and that's the real message that I want people to understand. Is the market will rally into that event. Don't go buy your Bitcoins on the halving date.
Right.
The trade will probably be over by then.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And since we're looking at a longer time frame than most people are used to here, I mean, most people in the alt community at least, I mean, that kind of means almost, if you think it's going to happen, better get in soon.
Well, here's the kick in the pants. I wouldn't be surprised 10, 15 years from now, we look back on the charts and we go, holy crap, I can't believe I could have bought Bitcoins underneath $300.
Hey, I really hope that's the case. I really hope that's the case.
For little old ladies and stuff, I really wouldn't have a problem with you just using this trading range as your base. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. And I think that these tests, and you can see the market is doing it in real time. Can you guys remember we talked about the harmonic here, right? Mm-hmm. The market tried to break this down, and the market reversed off of this old high level, right? This is the top of that trading range. I think that this is our base to head into the halving event. And it wouldn't surprise me if you can get yourself some free coins on any sort of dips to test this 300 level. And I've been joking with my people. There is no reason in my mind whatsoever, and I don't want to sound like I'm touting and big sales pitch. I see no reason whatsoever that Bitcoin cannot rally up to $700, $800, $900 a coin into next July. So you guys do the math, right? I mean, does this not look like a lot of our altcoins?
It looks exactly like a lot of our altcoins
that
continue to range for quite a while and then kaboom.
Yeah.
I doubt it's going to go explicitly kaboom on Bitcoin, but it may. I mean, look what happened recently. That was I guess it was a little gradual on the day chart, but...
Well, the point here is that this was a fundamental catalyst. Finally, we had something for people to actually chew on, right? Mm-hmm. Half of the problem with Bitcoin is that on a day-to-day basis, I remember I guess it was last summer here when price was just sitting up here at $600. It was really interesting how there just wasn't any news after this Silk Road auction. There just wasn't any news. And so price just drifted.
Yeah, it was a big lull period.
Yeah, and I remember saying that I kind of felt like the market was getting a bit complacent. They were just kind of assuming, well, Bitcoin $600, no problem. That's asking for trouble. The fact that we have a fundamental news event, I kind of think price could drift here a bit, but as soon I thought it was interesting that Litecoin rally. There was talk about Ponzi schemes within that rally. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
So
now there's talk of Ponzi schemes in Bitcoin with the MMM thing.
Right. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, you know what? That conversation, I'd be willing to bet dollars to donuts. That conversation ended very quickly on this. Boom. Right. The process of the market coming down here washes out all that nonsense talk. Right. The point that I would just simply make is, we can see this as a range. If we believe in W's, then you kind of have to take this trade. You almost have no choice. That's a trader's life. And honestly, I don't see any reason why and you guys have heard me talk about buy when it snows, sell when it goes, right? I would actually argue the altcoin market right now is they're in the doldrums, right? They're not feeling very happy in altcoin land right now.
Right.
So ironically enough, what does that mean we as investors should be seriously thinking of doing right now?
Buying.
That's right. I always hope you didn't say selling. But yeah, we want to. Have you guys ever heard me say you want to be buying when they're crying and selling when?
When they're yelling.
When they're yelling. Have you guys ever heard me say that? When they're yelling?
I couldn't remember if it was yelling or smelling.
All right. So can you and if you guys notice that crypto seems to really like to rally into sort of the late spring, early summer. I've noticed that over the past couple of years, the altcoin market really seems to come alive in that sort of late spring, early summer time period. So we got a big fundamental catalyst coming up here in July. We've got a relatively sanguine market right now. It's starting to snow. I mean, all the pieces in my mind, if I was a broker and I was talking to a retail client base, I really am starting to feel like, there's a real opportunity here. So let's see if how we do, just like that last projection that we did 2 weeks ago. Frankly, I didn't know where the market was going to go. I just simply used my 25 years experience and sort of give you a hunch as to what I think's coming up. Well, I would say that based on my 25 years of experience, I think we're about to go into a Bitcoin rally here. I don't think it's here just yet.
Right.
But I think, over the next couple months, I think
springy, summery time.
Well, and the thing is you can't be buying then, right? That's actually when you should be taking profits. So all the people that are watching this show now, you need to understand that for us to make a capital gain off of this move, we have to anticipate that, think forward discounting mechanism, so we have to sort of prepare ourselves for that event ahead of time. All right, so I've said my piece about Bitcoin.
Cool. Well, I suppose in terms of alts, I mean, we have about 10, 15 minutes, so I don't know if you want to.
Oh, really? Okay, well, you know, we
knock
promised
off one
these
or two
people,
quickly
so
here.
yeah, let's just quickly go through these. The cool part about it, hopefully, is I've saved all these charts so we can load them relatively quickly. Let's see what happens. So we'll start off at the top of the list, and keep in mind that, you know, and the cool part about it is most of you guys that have watched these programs, you kind of know how I'm thinking now. We've been at this game a while. So I'll just quickly go through the list, mention ideas that I'm interested in. Somebody asked me to look at WDC. Very interested. Can you guys understand why I like the trade location here?
Yeah, it looks like every market that quickly bursts into a rally.
Well, we don't quite. I mean, we had nice.
I know there's
WE,
other things involved, but
you know, we had, you know, nice WE action off the bottom here, and that's really when these things are going to rock and roll, when you start seeing W's. If we look in the short term, you know, we just broke to new lows here recently, so we're not quite there yet. But, you know, given the seasonality, it should make sense that prices should be against their lows, right? I should be getting ready to be a buyer. Ideally, do you see how this sort of went down, up, came back down, and then reversed and broke out? Can you guys see the W? Down, up, down, breakout, right? And that led to this bull run. So let's wait for a nice little W to form here, and it might take a month or two, right? This took about 2 or 3 months to develop. But can you guys understand that this could definitely be on a high consideration list for a guy like me? And the interesting thing is the public probably isn't that interested in this name right now.
no, I mean, this is the first I've heard of WTC mentioned in a long time. WorldCoin.
All right.
Just for your info, Brian, it's a charity-based coin. Yeah, I was just actually going through that. So it sounds like they're kind of doing philanthropic.
All right. So I would say, you know, available supply a little bit heavy. I do like these stories, though, that have a story. So if anything, that's a good sign. You know, for those people that are trading this stuff, I don't quite have, you know, enough reason to pound the table right now. We're breaking to new lows, right? No W's. You can see the moving averages are still negative, and OBV's heading down. Momentum's kind of wishy-washy. You know, you guys have heard me talk about Willie. When Willie gets down here this overbought, we've kind of missed the opportunity to be a seller. And my hunch is we're probably closer to a bottom than a top. There might be nice counter trend rallies, right? But for the time being, that's the absolute most that I can consider it right now, right? As soon as we start putting in some WE action, then we can start considering, you know, this thing actually trending higher. Interesting trade location in that, you know, if you consider buying in here, all you're doing is just basically buying against this original bottom. So ask yourself, why did the coin put in this bottom? What was the fundamental driver? Who was this that bought right here? And is that story still relevant? If this guy is gone, he took profits up top here, which it kind of looks like maybe they are, then this low is suspect. But if this story is still for real, and whoever bought in here is still long and they're still promoting the story, then give this some serious consideration, you know, especially if you're margin trading or something. You could go in here and buy and just risk against these lows. If it breaks these lows, you've got to get the hell out. As for investment grade, like I said before, I would prefer to see some sort of market structure in here before I start, you know, declaring bottoms and stuff. Okay? So there's WDC. Cool. Very interesting trade location, one that's definitely on my radar screen. Kind of don't like the amount of coins that are outstanding there. Next on the list, DGC, and actually we have two, DGC and DGB, so they're very close. I think the other person who asked me to look at that last coin asked me to look at this one. And, you know, I got to say, same sort of thing. Can you guys understand why I would be interested in being long this story down here?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
sorry, I was muted.
That's okay. I mean, I do like the fact that somebody keeps defending this name every time it gets down in this area. Now, there's a couple problems here. You can see somebody dumped big time out of the story right here, right? That's a bit concerning. And you can see the momentum, it also rolled over hard on that dump. So, and can you guys kind of see the ME type action up in here?
Mm-hmm.
So, and really this is very typical of all of these altcoins, right? What a coincidence. Remember I said, these crypto market, it loves to rally into sort of that May, June, early July time period. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
So really seasonally, this thing did exactly what it was supposed to do. And unfortunately, what I see is that the altcoins, they love to bottom into the end of the year. You know, if we say buy when it snows, sell when it goes, technically we should be thinking about being buyers down here and sellers up here, right? I am a little bit leery about getting too excited about this just yet. I would like to see some WE type action. And I would like to see some sort of buyer come in and say, you know what, I'm willing to put some money down here, and you know, basically ride their coattails, right? 28 million, not bad. Does this mean that there is 200,000 out, or there's 200,000 and they can issue up to 200 million, or 28 million and they can issue up to 200 million?
That means 28 million have been mined so far, and there's
Okay.
200 million that will ever be mined. But who knows how long that could take, you know, depending on the algorithm.
So 28 million, that's not terrible. You can clearly see that if we lose this level, there's going to be trouble, right? If you wanted to just take a simple risk trade and say, you know what, if they close the market down below this area, I'm going to walk. But you got to understand that that could be fairly substantial percentages, right? This is, if anything, a great sort of example of little old lady, where you're just going to take a portion of your portfolio, you'll go and nibble off of this thing if you like the fundamental story, and you're just going to risk that capital. They might do an FU move here, you know, like one of these sort of crazy ass tails, and then it just quickly spikes right back into this trading zone. You know, the cool part about it is when these kind of stories get going, and what do you think the odds are that this was a 38.2 right there?
I'm betting pretty good.
Oh, actually, it was a. Oh, isn't that interesting? The 38.2 was right there. Do you see that? So it was actually that rally peak. Isn't that interesting? And then we might actually even go like even off of this range here. Let's see. Where's that rally peak? Somewhere up in there. I think that the market sort of ran into sort of 38.2, 50% level here, and we're kind of stuck right now. But, you know, I mean, this is the great part about little old lady, right? Is, you know, these percentages, if you went and took a nibble here at 1800, well, your double level is, oops, right, 3600, right? So double is like right there. How many doubles? And, you know, we're just going to do our reload zone concept, right? And we're not going to ask the coin to go to new highs. We're just going to simply say, can they take the market back up into an area that the whales, institutions, whatever the hell you want to call them, they're going to maybe start, you know, supplying the market with some coins. Well, how many doubles is that? That's a tenfold increase from where we are now. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
We're at 1,800, and that reload zone is at 19,000.
And we've seen it happen.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the nature of venture capital, though. If anything, that's exactly what's supposed to happen, right? So, I could probably bang off 3 or 4 doubles on our way up here into this reload zone. So, for those that can employ the little old lady strategy, here's a great example where you're just going to throw a chunk of your portfolio, not much, maybe like 2.5%, 3%, 4%, 5% max. We're not going to risk more than 5% of our portfolio on any one trade. And you're just going to sit on this thing and just wait for it to give you free position, which isn't that far away. And if it goes down and tanks a bit, well, maybe it takes some time and work its way back into this sort of free position zone. But ultimately, I'll be looking for the rally back up into here, and hopefully it comes on, May, June, July seasonal peak. For a stock market guy, I had no problem buying a stock in the middle of November, December, and looking to sell it in April, May, June. That's very normal in stock market land. So I know that's kind of moving like a dinosaur in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I show 829. What do you think? We got 2. We got a few more to bang out here. What do you think? Should we keep going, or do we want to leave it at that?
Up to you, up to Rob. What are you guys thinking?
Let's do one more.
All right, one more for old time's sake. So again, I just got to keep reiterating, guys. Number one, and before I finish this, there's a reason why I'm interested in these names down here, right? I kind of like buying against lows. And then if we look at all the seasonality of the market, I kind of like the idea of being a buyer this time of year. Do I have an actual outright pound the table W bottom? We got to go in and load up on this thing. Go for it. Go. No, we're not there yet. Okay. All right. Next one. Who else do we gonna do here? Okay. So we've done DGB and we've done VIA lots. We had somebody ask about SPRTS.
Sprouts.
And I thought that this one was kind of interesting. So why don't we finish off with this guy today?
Sprouts has a pretty cool logo, if I recall. Yeah, look at that. Woo.
You like that?
Yeah.
Little bit. I don't. 155 million out. That right?
Should be.
All right. So you guys can understand that. To me, that's a bit heavy, right? This kind of reminds me of like Doge, right? When you have these hundreds of millions of coins out, it's awfully tough for these things to get going.
It's in the Doge price range at the moment.
Are we down into single digits here? I've got on these comparisons, so I don't actually have the price.
73 Satoshi.
Right. A couple things that bother me here. Number one, what letter of the alphabet does this awfully look like? What do we see up here, guys?
Looks like a big M.
Yeah, we got like lots of M's here, right? And like that last one where we saw it had a really big high. Here, I'm gonna actually get rid of this just for the time being. Here. Let's go remove. Okay. And you guys have heard me say wicks and tails like to be eaten. And you notice how the market worked its way up and ate up this wick, right? And then crapped out. And it kind of did it again and crapped out and did it again and crapped out. We have left some wicks up here, so hope, some point down the road, this thing does head back up there. And seasonally, right, I guess it would kind of make sense for us to be looking for some sort of bottom to be coming in the end of the year. I would imagine, especially this story seems a little bit older, right, trading on Cryptsy. And I actually had on the chart there a moment ago the Bitterx chart, and you saw that it was just listed on Bitterx sort of right here, and it just dumped. I'm a little disappointed that this floor here couldn't resolve itself higher. Can you see how the market really tried to sort of W here? You know, it did it a couple times, really wanted to get going, and then just crapped out. My feeling here is that they were working on something here, and then whoever the backers were, whatever the idea was, it broke apart here. So whoever asked us to look into this coin, what you need to really find out is what happened here. What happened? Did some big player just decide to walk away from this story here? Did the developer just crap out? Did BitterX say that, you know, they're going to do their crazy stuff? You notice that I'm looking at this on Cryptsy here, right? If we actually look at the BitterX chart, we see that, you know, like literally, you guys have heard me say higher highs and higher lows defines a bull market. Lower highs and lower lows defines a bear market, right? And literally, there's the Cryptsy listing, right? And this thing's done nothing but just make lower highs and lower lows. And it's kind of disappointing that we lost this tail here. You see how it lost the tail here?
Yeah.
You can see money is flowing out of the issue. Have you guys ever heard of the term white knight?
In terms of the internet, yes. I don't know about in terms of trading.
Okay, well, you know, in this is more stock market-y language. Sometimes when a company or a coin or something is in trouble, somebody will come along and say, "Oh, I'll give you $100 million and I'll take over the company," right? And
Sure.
they call that a white knight, right?
Sure.
So maybe a white knight comes in and saves this story. But frankly speaking, guys, you know, especially the audience, my advice to you guys is let that white knight come in and put a bottom in this name and then go and risk your hard-earned money. The fact that the market broke to new lows here, and this is the BitterX chart, right, that unfortunately doesn't speak highly here. And then, like I said, if we go back to Cryptsy, we actually see that the coin broke some serious historic lows, right? There was the ICO, or if this is ICO, I don't want to go down that thing again, right?
Yeah, let's not go there.
The point here is whatever this listing low was, they're flirting with that right now, aren't they? So I don't know what the story is here, but you guys can clearly see that the money flow is kind of heading out, isn't it?
Yeah. The sad thing is there's not much further it can go once we get down to 1 Satoshi.
Well, and that's just it, right? So what is it these guys do? What is it that justifies $38,000 in a market cap? Do they actually have a story? Do they actually use the coin for something? You know, if
no, we got to get some more data on
this is the whole life of the coin here that you're showing, right? So it must have only been out for, what is that, a few months?
Not long, right? This is a 6-hour.
Yeah, I know we added it to wallet tracking like semi-recently. Somebody asked for it.
This is at the end of the summer, right? So this was a summer pump. And, you know, this is the daily chart.
That's right about when somebody had us add it to wallet tracking.
Yeah, look at how it's falling apart there on the daily chart. That's awesome.
So, have you guys ever heard me say this? Whenever you see the market smiling at you, what's about to happen?
You better clench.
Well, I usually say, whenever you see the market smiling at you, it's getting ready to take your money away from you. So I'd be a little bit concerned about this. Now, let's get a white knight in here. Let's form some sort of W pattern, and then we can start, you know, then we're back at the races. What's really interesting, like I said a moment ago, is they tried, like the Dickens, to put a W in here, didn't they? And they just couldn't do it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a fantastic analogy of just having the patience and discipline to wait for the W's. And if you can't wait for the W's, man, sometimes you can just get really punished. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so I apologize whoever asked for us to look at this. That's probably not what you wanted to hear. Hopefully, hope, White Knight comes in, you know, turns this volume story around. We potentially have a bullish divergence trying to form here on this move to new lows. Willie is technically stupid here, but man, I gotta see some sort of evidence of a bottom before I start going and risking my hard-earned money here. Okie dokie.
Well,
All
I
right.
think on that note we can
Call it a
send her
night.
off.
All right. You know, we might as well lead off. I don't know whether it's a great purchase or not, but it just simply met all my criteria for the audience. I went and picked up some of this XCO. It's really interesting. BitRX is potentially in a battle to delist them, you know, all that kind of craziness. You can see the volume's very light here. This is why I talked about that YoBit, so I might have to move these coins over to another exchange. But it's interesting when I go and actually look at the story and I listen to the discussion forums. Like, what's really interesting is these guys are working away, and hopefully you guys can appreciate just based off of the price chart why I'd be interested in just going and picking up a little bit of this. This is basically what this thing looks like. You see sort of the similar behavioral pattern of myself?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, and I like the OBV here, right? This is exactly what I want to see. And what's really interesting is you actually go on the message boards, and these guys talk like, hey, you know, we're working away, we're getting nodes and all that kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, the comment here, the end of November, terrific jam, good to see you here, I've been accumulating, the future looks bright, blah, blah, blah. So
Hey, Brian,
I'm really, yeah.
quick question. Can you paste that URL? Can you of the Bitcoin talk thread? Can you paste that into our chat or something? Because we can,
sure.
we add those manually for a lot of coins, a lot of new coins, and I think XCO is relatively new. So like, I don't know if you noticed on the right side of the, you know, on the economy tab, we have links to the forum, to the white paper, all over the place.
Okay,
and then if you go to Coinigy, go to the economy tab real quick.
And you know that, okay, so
Brian, click something here real quick for me. See that little flag in the upper right corner? Very tiny.
Right here?
Yeah. Okay, click that and paste in that URL and submit. There we go. Perfect.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. So we'll add that to XCO. I
like the amount of coins outstanding. I like the fact that the whole market cap's only $2,500. Talk about getting in on the ground floor. I'm getting in on the basement. I don't know if this story's going to work or not. It looks very interesting to me. I like the trade location. I like the amount of coins outstanding. And I like the talk. I mean, the talk generally is positive here. These guys are working away. So we'll see what happens, but this is a very typical sort of nibble kind of purchase that I'm doing this time of year. Very typical of me. All right, so there's a little treat to sort of end our show on.
Right on. Well, okay.
And hey, this isn't a solicitation for anybody to go buy this thing. If you want, just watch it and see what happens. I couldn't give a rat's ass if you guys go and buy this thing. I've had people on the Well, no, I've had people on the internet say, oh, yeah, Brian, you're just taking the opposite side of the trade and you're trying to pump these things up. That is the farthest thing from the truth. I just basically, you know, you guys, I run this crypto portfolio and you can see I went and spent a whopping 0.419 BTC on this thing, right? Not a hell of a lot of money, you know, but full disclosure, I want you guys to know what it is that I would actually consider buying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care whether you buy it or not. It's just totally for your information. And hopefully you guys can appreciate, you know, little old lady strategy. Man, I could have the patience of Job. If I just go here, look how many doubles I could rip off just with just a very simple, you know, reload zone retest just of the price action that we saw in August. That's not even that long ago, right? I could potentially get a tenfold increase here on my money. Right. So, point here is this is something that I've been doing recently. I thought I'd end the show with an idea that I've been buying. So, there you go, guys. Merry Christmas.
Yep, and I haven't even seen that one mentioned, so people are going to be in a frenzy over it, a buying frenzy.
You know, honestly, quite often when I tout these altcoins, usually they go down right after I tout them.
Yeah.
So anybody who's watching this, don't go and buy this coin today because I guarantee you it's probably going to go down over the next week.
She'll be on sale.
Yeah. All
But
right.
I
Well,
like it, and
we'll
I
wrap
bought
her
it.
up at this point, and just go ahead. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way, Brian. Sorry, I was kind of just
I talk way
rambling.
too much. Feel free to cut me off
All
anytime.
right. So thanks again for watching. Just want to mention, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's huge for us. Really helps grow the user base.
Yeah, I should be saying that too. So like and subscribe me, however the hell you do all that shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I've got two brilliant guys, Fjord and Julian. Oh my God, these guys. Obviously, the good Lord brought them into my life, and big kisses, Julian, Fjord. You guys have met Julian, so you know what a great guy he is. They are super computery. They've put together this just beautiful website for us. Yeah, just like Will said there, please like and subscribe and do all that kind of fun stuff because the boys will kiss you 100 times for it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'll be quiet now.
Nope, you're good. That's all I really wanted to say. And don't forget to check out Coinigy.com. Don't forget to check out therationalinvestor.co.
Oh, one other thing I should mention, just because I should. Newest term is coming up here January 1st, so anybody who wants to participate in our School for Trader Development, get in touch with me sooner rather than later because the seats are actually all going very, very quickly this term. I was actually a bit surprised. So.
Cool.
All right, now I'll be shut up. Jeez, I gotta really shut up.
Are you sure?
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, we're good. We'll have to get the rest of those.
We'll edit that part out.
Yeah, we'll edit that out at the end. I promise.
I'm terrible at this. I'm so bad. I'm so sorry.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for watching. If you made it through this, and yeah.
I thought we had a good time. I enjoyed our conversation.
Oh yeah, I definitely did. I didn't mean that to come off as condondesing. I don't know where I'm just.
Okay, and you guys, I'm actually surprised.
I'm looking at myself on video right now, just going like.
Oh, you're a handsome guy. Hey, yeah, and we got the New York skyline in behind you. I love that.
Yeah.
The only thing is, yeah, there you go. Yay! All right, so, maybe I was a little bit verbose tonight, as always. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you were good. I didn't mean that in a negative way.
Everybody who's watching
comes
this,
out of my mouth, and I didn't intend it that way. So
I was so pleased that you guys were telling me. We're getting like regularly like a good 1,000 people watching these shows, eh?
Yeah, it's been picking up a little bit. Last time I think we had like 1,600, 1,700 people. Or
That's
views,
fantastic,
rather. Which, in the grand scheme of YouTube, is a drop in the bucket. But hey, for a couple guys doing some Bitcoin and altcoin talk, that's pretty good. So, yeah, if you guys, if you're still listening, if you like the show, definitely share it, spread the word. We really appreciate it. A lot of work actually does go into putting this stuff together, so we'd appreciate anything that you can do. And on that note, before Brian interrupts me, I'm going to say sayonara. And happy trails. Hit the button.
All right, bye.